I'm recording a bunch of videos I put together in my head here that I want to share. This one's about a subsoiler, kind of modifications, upgrades. Well, it's really only two. It's really only two modifications slash upgrades on this I'm really doing here. All right. If you have one similar to mine, single shank, that don't look like it's a lot. It don't. But from this point here to where it was bottoming out here, the top of the ground was running about here. From there down, 14 inches. Now, that don't seem like much on the big jobs, as you call it, commercial stuff. I worked on commercial farms full of corn and tobacco and beans and wheat and all that. They just run 7, 8, 9 shanks of these at a time on 300-400 horsepower tractors. I'm a firm believer in vertical tillage. The problem is with the subsoiler. I'm gonna do some video on me using this with the 140. Problem is with subsoiler, it pulls so hard on the tractor, and the harder it pulls, the more it tells you that you need to use it. Really, if it's pulling real easy, you probably don't need to do it anyway. When it's pulling real hard, that tells you, yeah, you need to break that hard pan. A disc goes by a disc shears off like this at an angle. Y'all can look this up if you want. It shears off at an angle, and under that shear spot is what's called a hard pan. You want your roots to go straight down to where the moisture is. If you grow out, if your roots grow out in the spring and summer, it's gonna run out of water. That's if the water's down in the ground, it's not out. You hit the hard pan, it won't grow deep to where any moisture's at. And in the fall is when you in the spring is where you need to do your tillage. I get tongue tied and I pause because when I'm pausing, I'm trying to word stuff where I don't offend no one, make anyone mad. But look right here. This is where the front of that shank was. Perfectly flat and square. Alright. On your John Deere's especially your Underfirst. You're not familiar with that company, look the company up. It's a company called Underfirst. They make a lot of tillage stuff. Big stuff. They have what you call a wear shin right here. It's a V style shin. Now, if I go back to Agri Supply, I'm gonna pick up one, and all I got to do is weld a flat piece of steel across here and drill 2 holes in it, and I can put that wear shin on here if this ain't working like I want it. But all I did, I took the grinder, get up in here where you can see it. I took the grinder and I just beveled this off and rounded it off smooth on the front. So that thing would just slide through the ground easily. See, this is where it was, a square, a flat push. It's a dead push right here. That is nice and smooth and rounded. If you was to put a sharp cutting edge right here, it would definitely help. If you had a real sharp cutting edge right here, it would definitely help just get through the soil and pull a whole lot easier. This was a middle buster that we had laying around, and it kept straightening this point out. It had a point on here where you change your feet, and it kept straightening it out and bending it straight down, and just cut that off and just welded this point on it. And when this point wears out, I'm gonna lay another one under it and weld it to it. When it wears that one out, look, we're doing a couple acres a year. This thing probably won't live long enough to wear it out, to wear that foot out. But that's definitely a good subsoiler modification if you have one. So I took this and I rounded it out with the grinder. I'm not gonna paint it because ain't no paint gonna really stay on this running in the ground. It's gonna wear it off. I just rounded them edges off. So when it goes through the ground, it'll go through nice and smooth like my fingers are rolling across it right there. It don't roll. My fingers don't roll off this too well. That flat square steel. But that's one definite modification. Next thing, you can weld a piece of metal on here and put your wear shin on there. For like the underfurf and the John Deere Ripper / Subsoilers. But next modification you can do, especially if this is mainly going to pertain to your farmall tractor. All right, this is something I was experimenting with, so don't frown upon the way it looks. This is one I had laying here. It's trying to get an idea of how to do it. This is this shank is too short. I'm just doing this for experimental purposes. This shank is too short, for sure. All right. Take you a long shank. Maybe it's let me get the camera here. Where's about this long? And get you a trash coulter. I don't think you need a trash coulter. You ain't got to buy a trash coulter. You can buy trying to think of the technical name for it. They go on the planters. They open the seed furrow up. That's what this is. I was experimenting with this. But what we're gonna try, I'll show you. You can go to Agri Supply, or you can order them online. You can order a blank shank with a hole in it. A blank. It's just you get a long. You got them different lengths, all of them 2 foot to 12 inches, I believe. But you can get you a blank pen, one of these pens here, and get you a planter or whatever. I can't think of the technical name for it. Just a disc like this with a little hub on it. And you bolt that to that and use it as a trash coulter. And I'm going to explain why you need that. You put your layoff bar in here, across here. And that's not trash, it's a bag of weed I got over there. You put your layoff bar across the middle, and this is your layoff bar. That goes through the center. That's your layoff bar. Goes through the center. Now, for now, I'm going to use this. This is what we're going to test, and we're going to turn it straight. We'll turn that straight up just like that, and we're going to put it in the center of the layoff bar on the front of the tractor. And when I do the demo on it, when I go to use it, I get it more in depth. I didn't want the video being so long, so I broke it in 2 pieces. But you're gonna put that disc, put that blade up here under the tractor in the center of the axle pin there. And that's gonna make a trash coulter. That's what they call them, but that's really not the big job of them. What the big job of that thing is gonna do, it's gonna give the ground a breaking point for it to break in. It's gonna cut a line in the ground. And I'm gonna put the trash coulter up there because I don't have nowhere for it to mount it back here. As long as it's in front of this, it don't matter. One good lovely thing about a farmall. You get your pen on there, you put your pins on, and you can put anything on this tractor that you want. And you can put anything on it. You get you a 3-point hitch and the sky's the limit. But we're gonna put we're gonna make us one of them trash coulters like this. I'm not going in there driving Agri Supply just buy one of these. I'm gonna use that disc healer. That ain't got much curve to it at all. There ain't much curve in them at all. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna try that first. And all you want to do, you just want something to make a breaking point in that soil, for that soil to break open. That's gonna make this thing along these rounded edges right here. That's gonna make that subsoiler pull a whole lot easier and better. If you give that soil, and the deeper you can get that trash coulter to go in, the better off you're going to be. Because that gives you a breaking point for that soil versus just breaking off in clods. Now, that's really the only 2 modifications I got on this. And you can weld you something up here right in front of it, and or whatever you want here in the front, and you can put your coulter long as it's in front of it. It don't really matter. That's one thing that makes these single shank ones pull so hard. behind a smaller tractor, because when you buy them, they're just like that from Agri Supply or Tractor Supply. Or you buy them, they're just like that. The piece of square tubing, piece of square stock steel, and it ain't got a trash coat on it. Even your old Walker Hill, even your old, little windy today, even your old style turning plows had trash coaters on them for that, to give that breaking point in the soil and make it pull easier. It makes it pull a lot easier, and if you got anything in front of it, it'll cut it up. That's what we're here. Be trash coaters. You don't have to have them, but it makes the plow pull a whole lot easier. That was the purpose of it, to cut anything out and give the soil a breaking point in the soil for it to break. But that was the point of that. But, people say, well, oh, they plow without it. We're not gonna spend $100 in there. And I don't blame you, but you ain't got the money. That's little stuff. You put that on the back burner. That's what you call little stuff. But I don't blame anyone on that. But that's basically the two modifications right there. Round them edges off. There's a lot of these running around. A lot of people use these. They work good. You just need to round them edges off with a grinder. It don't take but an hour. Lay it there. The grinder, round them edges off. If you can get some sort of pointer here, it would even be better. If you can get some sort of point, some sort of cutting edge over here on the front, besides this big piece of square stock, it would work better. Put a smaller foot on it. I thought about taking a torch and shaving this down the same size as this shank. That will help some too. It's smalling this foot up, and I get into a little bit more detail when I'm ready to use this. I'm getting this set up. I'm gonna run over basically all my ground with this, as I do every year. I just started videoing this past summer, so it's a basic kind of hobby too. But I do eat everything I grow. We eat it. Me and my family, we eat everything we grow, and give us a lot of it away. But I'm gonna get into more in depth on why I prefer vertical tillage versus the old traditional style tillage with the turning plow and a disc. I'm gonna eventually get away from a disc completely and be all vertical till. That's what I was experimenting with these blades here. Is run these blades straight in a line with each other, not curved. And use these as basically trash coulters, basically. Is what I was trying to attempt with that cultivator frame. But I wish I could afford one of those perfectors with the drag. It's got the shanks on it. I wish I could afford one of them by 5-6 foot perfectors for the farmall. It's got the shanks on it, then the finger drags, and then behind that it's got the baskets. That'd be the ideal thing to use. That thing does a wonderful job. You can plant your cover crop with it. You can whirly brace your cover crop and then run it over with that. It's gonna come up look nice and good. That's the thing to use. But those things are $3,000 or $4,000. Anyhow, show you them few subsoiler modifications I came up with. Make this thing pull a little bit easier. A little bit easier. I'll get into a little bit more in depth on it after I start using it. Like my country boy redneck content, like and subscribe. More farmalls.